Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates international mega food event World Food India 2017. Invites investments from global companies and reaffirms centre's promise to double farmers' incomes. Supreme Court says banks can't send messages without specifying deadline on linking Aadhaar card and mobile number, asks telecom service providers to indicate last date in messages to customers. Campaigning heats up in the election-bound states in Himachal Pradesh. The BJP banks on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's charisma. In Gujarat, leaders of rival parties address public rallies. Chennai receives its heaviest spell of rain since the 2015 floods. Power cuts reported in many parts of the city. Hundreds of houses and paddy crops over thousands of hectares submerged. Well, our top focus on the bulletin this evening, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated an international mega food event, World Food India 2017, in the national capital on Friday. The Prime Minister invited investment proposals from global companies, highlighting the World Bank's ease of doing business rankings, in which India has surged 30 places. He also reiterated the centre's aim to double farmers' income within 5 years. Here's more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the three-day World Food India Congress 2017, the biggest congregation of global investors and business leaders of major food companies. Prime Minister Modi urged the private sector to invest more in contract farming, raw material sourcing and agri-linkages. He stressed that there are huge opportunities in India for global supermarket chains, considering the country is a major outsourcing hub.
There are opportunities in post-harvest management like primary processing and storage preservation, infrastructure, cold chain and refrigerated transportation.
The Prime Minister highlighted the attractive food processing policies unveiled by several states to attract investment. He also exhorted each state to identify at least one food product for specialization.
Each district can also select some food items for production and one item for specialization.
India is expected to attract an investment of $10 billion in the food processing sector, generating 1 million jobs over the next 3 years. India is the second largest producer of food, leader in milk, fruits and vegetables, cereals and marine products. Proximity to food importing nations also works in India's favor.
We have to create demand for a lot of new products and new categories. We have to get into food processing. We have every climatic condition in the country. We can produce so much what we import.
It's very good from the potential point of view. Obviously, the ease of doing business can still improve a heck of a lot.
The three-day event will see 2,000 participants and 200 companies from around 30 countries. 18 ministerial and business delegations and nearby 50 global CEOs are also participating.
The government aims to transform food economy and realize the vision of doubling farmers' income by establishing India as a preferred investment destination and a sourcing hub for global food processing industry. Reporting from Delhi with camera person Kavaljit, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha television.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday met his Latvian counterpart Maris Kučinskis in New Delhi for bilateral talks. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Ravish Kumar said Modi and Kučinskis discussed a wide range of bilateral issues. Quoting the Prime Minister, Ravish Kumar said, India and Latvia have a strong potential for cooperation in higher education, IT, food processing, fisheries and allied sectors. The Latvian Prime Minister also attended the World Food India event inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi. Prime Minister Kučinskis, who arrived on a 5-day visit to India on Thursday, will also meet President Ramnath Kovind. Well, the Prime Minister also met Armenian President Serge Sargsyan and discussed ways to boost bilateral ties. The Armenian President, who is on a 3-day visit, attended the World Food India event that was inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also met the Armenian President. Meanwhile, India has expressed disappointment with China's veto to a bid to list Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar as a global terrorist by the UN. Reacting sharply to China's move to once again block the resolution against Masood Azhar at the UN, the Ministry of External Affairs has said accommodating terrorism for narrow objectives was both short-sighted and counterproductive. In a strongly worded statement, the Ministry of External Affairs said, "We are deeply disappointed that once again a single country has blocked international consensus on the designation of an acknowledged terrorist and leader of UN-designated terrorist organization, Masood Azhar. India strongly believes that double standards and selective approaches will only undermine international community's resolve to combat terrorism." On Thursday, China blocked for the 4th time another bid by the US, France and the UK to list Jaish-e-Mohammed chief and mastermind of the Pathankot terror attack, Masood Azhar, as a global terrorist by the UN, saying there is no consensus. The blocking by China comes barely 2 months after Beijing agreed to name the outfit a terrorist group at the BRICS declaration. Despite the move, Beijing said on Friday that it was ready to work with India to promote bilateral ties and that India is an important neighbor of China.
The decision to by a country to block a consensus should not be seen as an end in our anti or counter-terrorism efforts. What is important is that it does not in any way take away our resolve to fight terrorism.
अभी चीन ये बार बार ये काम करता आया है, सारा दुनिया देखती है, लेकिन ये चीन की भूमिका बहुत स्पष्ट नहीं है. जब चीन पर बीतेगी तब चीन भी उसके लिए ना नहीं कहेगा, क्यों तो आतंक से देश दुनिया जूझ रही है और ऐसे समय में एक आतंकी के साथ में किसी देश ने होना, ये ज़रा बहुत ही तकलीफ वाली बात है.
It is in China's interest to totally support Pakistan, and that's what they're doing. They couldn't care a damn about India's sentiments, India's views, or the views of the world at large. Out of 15 members of the UN Security Council, 14 members have been supporting India. China has been misusing its veto power.
Well, in a clear message, the Apex Court has asked the public not to panic and has directed mobile service providers and banks to specify the last dates for Aadhaar linkage in the SMSs and emails they send to their subscribers. The Apex Court ordered that mobile service providers and banks should specify that February 6, 2018 and December 31, 2017 are the last dates respectively for Aadhaar linking. The very validity of Aadhaar is scheduled to be heard from the last week of November. The court also issued a notice to the government saying that the petitioners are at liberty to press their case for an extension of the deadline in case the final hearing does not take place during November end. Well, the Supreme Court said on Friday that individual cases against demonetization will be heard by a constitution bench. It will review the validity and other related aspects of the decision. A 3-judge bench of the top court asked the petitioners to file 2 to 3 page long interlocutory applications in the pending petitions that will be dealt by the constitution bench later. It also disposed of individual petitions filled by 14 people seeking permission to deposit currency notes on the ground that they couldn't deposit their notes with banks due to some compelling reasons. Appearing for the government, Attorney General K.K. Venugopal assured the court that no criminal action will be taken against the petitioners for possession of demonetized currency. He, however, added that protection against criminal action will only extend to the demonetized money that they had specifically mentioned in their petitions, before the Supreme Court. The petitioners can't claim protection for other amounts. While putting to rest all speculations, former TMC MP Mukul Roy joined the BJP on Friday evening. He was inducted into the party at the BJP headquarters in New Delhi. Welcoming him into the party fold, senior BJP leader and Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad expressed hope that Roy's entry will give the party's campaign in West Bengal a major boost. Roy also described his induction into the BJP as a proud moment and said that he was eager to work under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi.
हम बहुत विनम्रता से लेकिन उत्साह के साथ श्री मुकुल रॉय का स्वागत करते हैं। हमें पूरा विश्वास है कि बीजेपी में आने के बाद बंगाल में बीजेपी का विस्तार होगा और उनका जो अनुभव है संगठन में और वहां की राजनीति को समझने का, उसका संगठन को लाभ मिलेगा।
Today I have joined Bharatiya Janata Party. It is my proud privilege to work under the present Prime Minister. I believe that under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji, Kailash Vijayvargiya ji and Amit Bhai, in the near future, BJP will grab the power in West Bengal for the benefit of the people of the Bengal.
Well, let's now get you the latest from the election-bound states of Himachal Pradesh and Gujarat, where elections are barely a week away in Himachal Pradesh. Amid hectic campaigning by political parties led by the BJP and the Congress, people in 68 assembly constituencies gear up to cast their ballots on November 9th.
People in 68 assembly constituencies in Himachal Pradesh will cast their ballots on the 9th of November to decide their next state government. The Congress is asking for votes in the name of development work that it has achieved in the last 5 years.
केंद्र की सरकार है जो हिमाचल प्रदेश के लोगों को जो उनका वाजिब हक और अधिकार थे, जो मदद सहायता मिलनी चाहिए थी, केंद्र सरकार ने वो दी नहीं। चुनाव के समय आकर यहाँ वादों की छड़ी लगा रहे हैं, अलग अलग लोगों को लुभाने के लिए जुमले दिए जा रहे हैं। हमारी सरकार ने जो काम किया 5 साल में, टूरिज्म के क्षेत्र में, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट के क्षेत्र में, रोजगार देने के क्षेत्र में, स्कूल कॉलेजेस खोलने के क्षेत्र में, उस काम के आधार पर मुझे लगता है कि जनता पुनः कांग्रेस को एक और मौका देगी।
The BJP has 29 seats in the present assembly. Its campaigns are focusing on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's model of development and anti-incumbency against the ruling Congress and Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh. The party claims the Congress government in the state has not fulfilled its election promises.
हिमाचल प्रदेश में पिछले 5 सालों में जो वीरभद्र की सरकार रही, उन्हीं मुद्दों को लेकर के हिमाचल प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री, हम सबको जानकारी है कि आय से अधिक मामले जमानत पर हैं, उनकी पत्नी जमानत पर है, तो इस प्रकार की स्थिति में हिमाचल प्रदेश में विकास अवरुद्ध हुआ है।
While a few political observers give credit to Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh for some developmental work, they are skeptical about the integrity of the governance. They also feel the Prime Minister's charisma will play a big role in the election.
वीरभद्र सिंह के जो विकास के कार्य हैं, अगर उन्हें वो मतदाताओं को लुभा सकें, तो हो सकता है वीरभद्र सिंह दोबारा 7वीं बार मुख्यमंत्री बन जाए। इसलिए उन्होंने एक दाव खेला है धूमल जी के ऊपर कि मोदी जी का एक चेहरा होगा और धूमल जी हमारे मुख्यमंत्री में होंगे। इसलिए मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि भाजपा ने जब धूमल जी को मुख्यमंत्री का अपना उम्मीदवार बनाया है।
Himachal Pradesh has traditionally seen a change of guard every 5 years, with governments led by Veerbhadra Singh of the Congress and BJP's Prem Kumar Dhumal alternating every election. All eyes are on whether the trend will be repeated this time as well.
The fight between BJP and Congress is virtually a fight between Veerbhadra Singh of Congress and Prem Kumar Dhumal of BJP. There is neck-to-neck fight and situations might be like Manipur or Goa. It will be interesting to see that how far anti-incumbency against Veerbhadra Singh is working in the favor of BJP. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha television with camera person DK Pandey and Sudhanshu in Simla.
Well, join me for a chat right now is our correspondent Akhilesh Suman. Well, Akhilesh Suman, you of course are in Shimla. What is the mood like in the capital of Himachal Pradesh, that is Shimla, right now?
Actually, if you see about Himachal Pradesh, you know that there is a a great deal of confrontation between BJP and Congress, because it is the seat of governance and it is the place where political temperature is very high all the time. And if you see, Himachal Pradesh is a tourist place and people from every part of the country come here. But if I want to talk to people, they are keeping their fingers crossed for a long time, and they are also asking me that do you think that who is going to win? So it is a very cut-to-cut fight. I can understand from between BJP and Congress, because Congress has shown some work, but the image of the Chief Minister has been dented a lot in the last 1 year or so. So BJP is taking this advantage, and this advantage will be very interesting whether this advantage is going to fructify into the votes in coming days, because you know that BJP has been working on the issue of development. BJP has been working on the issue of how demonetization and GST will work in favor of rooting out the corruption from the country and also from the state. So BJP is also giving logic that why GST and demonetization was essential. And what I am getting from BJP people, they are telling that Veerbhadra Singh has joined the whole bandwagon of GST, and he had the option of suggesting something new in the GST, but he did not. So GST is also, BJP is trying to put the whole, if something wrong in GST, BJP is trying to put in the hand of Congress and Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh. So BJP is playing all the electoral games that can be played in Himachal Pradesh, and it is going to be very interesting in last 5 days that their campaigns are left, Frank.
All right, indeed. Okay, it is indeed going to be interesting because there are just a few more days to go before the polls actually take place in Himachal Pradesh. But as far as the people are concerned, what are the issues that they're concerned about before they head into polls?
Yeah, it's really, education is one of the major issues there, because people are feeling that education has gone very in a troublesome spot, because the system of education, the semester system, has also been affecting the students' career, and there were delays in exams. So this is one of the major issues among the youth. Infrastructure is always an issue in the hilly states, because you know that in hilly states there is always a scope of developing the infrastructure, roads, bridges and everything. So these are people are also feeling that Veerbhadra Singh could have done much more than what he has done in the last 5 years. So these are the two major issues that people are raising question, and other is, you know, that the whole question of corruption on the family of Veerbhadra Singh.
Right.
And they are also saying that what Veerbhadra Singh has committed in the last manifesto, it has not been fulfilled. So this is time that BJP is trying to grab that sentiment, and people are seemingly people are buying some people are buying this type of feelings that BJP is trying to propagate. So it is very tricky situation, and people are keeping fingers crossed for last 5 that they will try to finish, because the fringe voters are very important, Frank, and fringe voters are gauging that whose weight is heavier as far as the question of development is concerned and as far as fulfillment of the electoral promises are concerned.
All right. Yeah. Akhilesh Suman, we'll have to leave to that. Thank you so much for joining us there with those details and getting us an update from poll-bound Himachal Pradesh. Now, the Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, who's on a 3-day tour to South Gujarat on Friday, addressed a Navsarjan Yatra in Gujarat's Vapi. Rahul also addressed a public rally in Pardi. Here's more.
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi on Friday termed the Gujarat election as a battle between truth and lies. He accused the centre and the BJP of failing to deliver on its promises. Addressing a public meeting at Pardi in Valsad district, Rahul alleged that except a few businessmen, no one is happy in Gujarat.
हर समाज आंदोलन चल रहा है। गुजरात में कोई खुश नहीं। कांग्रेस पार्टी जीतेगी क्योंकि सच्चाई हमारे पास है। आप जितना भी दम लगा लो, आपके पास सच्चाई नहीं है। सच्चाई गुजरात की जनता के दिल में है। सच्चाई कांग्रेस पार्टी आज गुजरात में बोल रही है।
Raising the issue of unemployment, Rahul Gandhi held the ruling government responsible for not creating enough jobs in the state. On the last day of his visit, Rahul Gandhi also met farmers, fishermen and traders.
चाइना दिन में 24 घंटे में 50,000 युवाओं को रोजगार देता है। आज हिंदुस्तान की सरकार 24 घंटे में पूरे हिंदुस्तान में सिर्फ 450 युवाओं को रोजगार देती है।
Responding to Rahul Gandhi, the BJP accused the Congress of spreading lies.
एक प्रकार से वो इस तरह का कंफ्यूजन पैदा करके अपनी राजनीतिक एजेंडे को आगे बढ़ाने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं, लेकिन सच पूछिए तो ये सारा का सारा विषय उन्हीं के द्वारा बनाया गया है। कांग्रेस का कोई इस विषय को लेकर के स्टैंड है ही नहीं।
Rahul Gandhi is on a 3-day visit to South Gujarat as part of the Navsarjan Yatra of the Congress. His campaign speeches have mainly focused on targeting the decisions and policies of the union government. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, moving on now, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister E. Palaniswamy's government has arranged 115 multi-purpose shelters in the coastal districts as Met Department forecast more rains over the next 48 hours. Here are the details.
History repeats itself as Chennai received its heaviest spell of rain since the 2015 floods on Thursday. Chief Minister E. Palaniswamy took stock of the situation in the affected areas.
Government has to take some step to proceed. No one has come and seen this place, and because the river is it is nearby, so there is no fence and no protection here. So every year we are struggling through this issue. So government has to immediately take some action.
For last 3 days, actually, it's knee-deep water. We are actually staying in knee-deep water, and for actually food and other items, we have to come out and it's 3 or 4 streets we have to cross and to the main road and actually have to buy. They have not at all done anything actually previous. They have not actually learned anything from the previous history, and they have not done anything in this year.
There was severe waterlogging in several coastal pockets of Chennai after rains lashed the city for close to 6 hours following a low pressure over the Bay of Bengal. Power cuts were reported in many parts of the city. Incessant rain inundated hundreds of houses and submerged paddy crops in thousands of hectares. Many have been evacuated and shifted to safer areas or to relief camps.
எல்லாமே low lying areas ங்க. சில இடம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா வெளச்சேரி sea level ஓட குறைவு. mean sea level சொல்லுவாங்கல, கடலை விட கீழ இருக்கு. இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு நிமிஷம். இந்த மாதிரி ஏரியால வந்து பிளான் வந்து திடீர்னு போட்டு அந்த ஏரியாக்கு மட்டும் பிளான் பண்ண முடியாது. சோ நம்ம பார்த்தோம்னா ஜிஎஸ்டி ரோடுக்கு அந்த பக்கம் உள்ள தண்ணி எல்லாம் அடையாருக்கு போகுது. ஜிஎஸ்டி ரோடுக்கு இந்த பக்கம் உள்ள தண்ணி எல்லாம் நம்ம பெங்கால் கனால் வந்து பே ஆஃப் பெங்கால் போணும். சோ எல்லா கிராமத்தையும் சேர்த்து ஒன்றிணைத்து ஒரு ப்ரொபோசல் தான் போட முடியும் தவிர கோவிலம்பாக்கம் தனியா வெளச்சேரி தனியா போட முடியாது.
After the government's advisory to declare a holiday, schools and colleges in Chennai and other parts of coastal Tamil Nadu will remain closed till Tuesday, the 7th of November. Several IT companies have provided work-from-home option to their employees. The Met Department has warned of heavy rain for another 48 hours, but said there is no need to panic.
Today also we expect the activity to continue. In addition to that, even thunderstorm activity is also expected. So with respect to that, we have given warning pertaining to heavy rainfall activity as well as for thunderstorm activity.
More than 10,000 fishermen have also been affected after they could not venture into the sea for the 5th consecutive day. Salt production in Vedaranyam area has also come to a standstill. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the Indian team has reached the final of the 2017 Women's Asia Cup Hockey Tournament. They defeated hosts and defending champions Japan 4-2 in a closely contested semi-final on Friday. Goals from Gurjeet Kaur, Navjot Kaur and Lal Remsiami underlined India's victory, which took them to a 4th Asia Cup final. It was Gurjeet who gave India their first goal by converting a penalty corner in the 7th minute. In the 9th minute, that scoreline became 2-0 as Navjot added a fine field goal and Gurjeet slotted in her second goal of the match. The third quarter saw Lal Remsiami score her first goal of the tournament to put India ahead 4-2. The Indian Eves have now set up a summit clash with China on Sunday. Well, that's it on this newscast. Do stay tuned for the big picture on the other side of this break.